Hello friends, this is astrology forecast for the year 2020 for Virgos. As you most probably know, the year 2020 is very specific in that there are many big planets in the sign of Capricorn, which we talked about in many of my previous videos during the year 2019 mainly. So if you want, you can check my videos about Saturn in Capricorn, about Jupiter in Capricorn. There is a video called Plutocracy, video about conjunction of Pluto and Saturn in the sign of Capricorn, about nodes and eclipses on the Capricorn Cancer axis, and so on. If you followed those videos or you saw similar videos on the YouTube, then you most probably know that big planets and big things are happening for Virgos in the 5th astrological house. So this what I'm going to talk about will work for those who have ascendant in Virgo, and also to a lesser degree for those who have Sun in Virgo, and perhaps also partly for people who have Moon in Virgo sign. So Virgos are solving more or less the same things as in the year 2019, with the difference that now the planet Jupiter is entering the same area of life, which is changing and facilitating everything significantly. Jupiter is our guru, and Jupiter brings knowledge that we need to solve certain issues in our life. Let me just remind you, please, at the beginning that astrology just makes it easier for us to better understand ourselves and our life path, our character and life path. But everything finally depends on that, on which level of spirituality we are, because very spiritual people are not much affected by the transits. And people who are all the time mentioning troubles that they are having with certain transits are actually people who do not do the inner work with themselves, and they don't know how to work with the energies that are coming. Of course, we all need to learn that, not just Virgo people. So big planet conjunctions are happening in the 5th astrological house. And now everything is changing and improving with Jupiter there in the year 2020. This is the area of life that we call the area of self-realization, love, creativity, and children. So many Virgo people are becoming more creative actually in the last years. And they're studying, maybe sometimes it was very painful, but they're studying how to love themselves, how to express themselves in a new way, and how to work in the field that they love to work in, and perhaps through their work on themselves, preparing themselves for a new profession. So now big job is done inside. It is a question of self-realization, but in the future. First, Virgos people needed to accept themselves as they are, and to connect themselves to the heart chakra, which this is this oblast. So heart chakra is actually the place also where we feel everything that we love. So love was the issue also. Do they love themselves or not? That was also the question for Virgo people. But when we were also working in a way with kids, maybe they felt that their kids are punished for that what they did in the past. Maybe some Virgos wanted to have children, but it was not possible. Now will be better with Jupiter there. So there was a lot of things done with children. Or maybe sometimes children left the house, so maybe they felt empty or things like that. Could be kids, could be questioned here also. And what is interesting thing, the 5th astrological house is also a place where we see investments. Especially investments on when people calculate how to make big money through internet in today's time, or maybe by what was the in English word, I forgot it. How when you go to casino and make fast money, or any kind of fast money, fast investments also we see there. This is active very much in the year 2020 also. So in this area actually we'll meet Jupiter and Pluto. They will make 3 conjunctions. So if there are Virgos who have some investments, and especially they really work with money and they want to put money somewhere to increase the income later on, then there are going to be big challenges in this area of life in the 2020. It's a big risk, but some people can have really big money through this. So it's up to you what to do. But if we talk about the self-realization and an opening of the heart chakra, with all of those conjunctions that are going to happen there in 2020, there can be really major transformations, but just remember that many things are coming through some very painful experiences. So maybe it will be also that you have to experience in 2020 some painful experiences in order to be completely transformed. So you will see, it depends on what type of Virgo you are, so you will maybe feel through some of those areas of life I mentioned here. So lunar nodes are still on the same axis, Cancer Capricorn axis, and influencing the same area of life for Virgos. And in the last 2 years, they have been realizing themselves through others, through some organizations they belong to, or through community projects, for example. It was very useful for Virgos to be in 2018 and 19, and maybe in the first part of 2020, member of some social groups, because through those groups they learned a lot. And maybe they even learned that they need to be more independent. If so, then they will use this knowledge, especially in the second part of 2020 or in 21, and be ready maybe to start new profession and be more independent. There were many lessons coming about that. It is interesting that Uranus is in Taurus. I have 3 videos about Uranus in Taurus on my YouTube channel. Check them if you have planets in Virgo. So now it depends on that when you were born. Each Virgo will have her portion of Uranus, but that depends on birthday time. Uranus will bring to all of Virgos awakening in a certain period of time, from the year, let's say 2018 until 2026. This can be very positive, but this really for this to go through this change, to make some sort of revolution in your life, if you're a Virgo person, you really need to free yourself. That's why it was so important, this work through the 5th astrological house, when Virgos were dealing with self-realization, creativity, feeling this inner need through their chakra, because Uranus will later on lead them towards some sort of independency and emancipation, and Virgos need to become more free and more independent in all of the areas of their life. So you will see with Uranus in the 2020, it is possible that Virgos will travel abroad, and through those traveling, they will expand their current knowledge, they will expand their horizons and open maybe their, widen their consciousness, let's say. Virgos having Neptune in the 7th astrological house. So some Virgos feel it already, some will have their portion of Neptune in the years to come. But Neptune is also doing actually more or less the same thing. So Neptune is pushing Virgos into spirituality. So Virgos are more prone to that than any other sign. Virgos are spiritual signs, just they need to discover that, and they are doing that usually through the life. And in the year 2020, they are going one step further in this process of learning about themselves through God or through spirituality, spiritual energy. And that will help Virgos not only to become more spiritual, but will also lead them towards healing professions. So many Virgos will become healers in the years to come, some most probably in the 2020 already. So Venus will be retrograde in the year 2020 in May and June. And this short transit will lead Virgo to reconsider and reevaluate their position at work, their ambitions for the future and current ambitions, and will also test the relationships with superiors. So maybe because of the contact with superiors, they will give up of some plans that they had or some future career plans, and they will prepare slowly then for something else that will come in the second part of this year or in the year 21. It is further significant that Mars will be retrograde in the year 2020, especially will be strong from September until November. This can push some Virgos to have risk with investments. So money is here an issue, especially some sort of investments where Virgo people expect fast return, as I mentioned. That's the trend in 2020. So be careful, especially from September until November. Chiron is in Aries for some time already. Virgos have Chiron in the 8th astrological house. According to some astrologers, Chiron is the ruler of Virgo sign. So this energy will expose them. It is doing that already, and it will continue to do that in 2020. It will expose their unconscious, energetic, inner material. So Virgos will learn a lot about that, how they react, why do they react in a certain way, why do they live this life in that way as they are. And maybe they will most probably with Chiron in the 8th house go to some process of regeneration, mainly psychological and emotional regeneration. Mercury will be retrograde 3 times during the year and will mostly affect Virgos when it will be in Pisces in February and March. That is the time when Virgos are reconsidering their relationships, all relationship, especially in partnership life, in their marriage life. Maybe they will be in the situation to make some new agreement with their partner, or maybe their partner, female-male partner, or maybe they will change the attitude towards clients if they have some clients, if they work in services and things like that. So that's basically all that I wanted to tell you shortly about Virgos in the year 2020. You will see that through my web pages, Symbolic Thinking, I offer different type of consultancy. So check what I offer please. I offer consultancy based on Thetahealing, that is sort of spiritually energetic healing, of Feng Shui, and different types of astrology consultations. Please note that I am not dealing with classical astrology or predictions of the future. I think that we should actually not do that. We can predict only in the frame of a model, and everything finally depends on the person. I'm more involved in astrological psychology and spiritual astrology, and the goal of those two ones is to enter into deeper layers of being, to make clear which inner mechanisms function, and to find the meaning in all of that. You will also find on my web pages that I offer a course for beginners of astrology, and you will see some other things. I have much more material in Serbian and Czech language, but let's hope there is going to be more things in English in future. If you like the video, please like it, subscribe to my channel and share it, and thank you very much for that in advance. And I wish you much happiness, courage and love in the year 2020.